All my Dallas fans need to listen to this right here. There's a possibility that a championship could be coming to you sooner than what you think. Now, Dallas, I know that you are disappointed in your Dallas Cowboys for underachieving in yet again another free agency in the NFL. And let's not forget that boneheaded trade that the Dallas Mavericks made with the Los Angeles Lakers, which myself and Jason Colenso are still trying to figure out. And speaking of my good friend NY, make sure that you're watching his podcast 3 from Deep 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 12 p.m. on the Boom Broadcasting YouTube channel. And keep your eyes peeled this fall as the NFL season will begin and Sideline Savants will be coming back with him and the man, Wayne the Commissioner Thomas, to discuss fantasy football. But back to Big D. A championship is on its way after a key acquisition was made in the beginning of March that could put a Dallas squad into contention for a championship. Hear it here on QuickHits.
Can't fall off, now they holler he'll turn, thinking I'ma sell out, talking just to feel heard. I never listen, although they say it's strictly.
Welcome to Quick Hits. I'm your host, Shannon Smith, aka Podcast Smitty. If you're new to the show, what's good? I'm Shannon. I'm a fan of sport, and Quick Hits will be dropping weekly to discuss some of your favorite sports topics. Anything in the news that's newsworthy, we're going to discuss it here on this show. So make sure that you keep your eyes peeled throughout the week so we can discuss all this stuff here. I cover an array of sports. I've covered wrestling the past couple weeks, covered some college basketball as we're in the thick of March Madness. Selection Sunday's coming up. So looking forward to that. As I'm taping this right now, this is on a Friday and Selection Sunday will be coming up this Sunday. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. Looking forward to what's going to be going on in baseball, what's going to be going on with the NHL, the NFL, all that stuff. Looking forward to that. We're going to talk about that here on this show here called Quick Hits. Thank you for watching. And we're going to go ahead and get into this topic right now. Now, the Dallas squad I'm talking about is the Dallas Stars of the NHL. On March 7th, just mere minutes before the NHL trade deadline ended, the Dallas Stars were able to acquire star forward Mikko Rantanen in a signing trade for 8 years and $96 million. Mikko Rantanen was a former top 10 pick of the Colorado Avalanche in 2015, and he was a household name for the franchise and was a key player on the 2022 Stanley Cup championship team. On January 24th, Mikko Rantanen was traded to the Carolina Hurricanes in a multiplayer 3-team trade, also involving the Chicago Blackhawks, which surprised the NHL and fans of both teams, as Mikko Rantanen, who was looked at as a mainstay with the Colorado Avalanche, went to a new team, and players like Martin Necas and Jack Drury, who were favorites of the Carolina Hurricanes, were going to the Colorado Avalanche. The Chicago Blackhawks received a 3rd-round pick, and the modern-day NHL has never seen a trade like this in a long time. Carolina made offers to extend Rantanen's contract, offering as much as $100 million for a long-term deal, while Rantanen was playing with his native Finland in the Four Nations Face-Off tournament. With no agreement on the table and Rantanen's non-committal, disappointing play, Carolina was forced to trade Rantanen after only 13 games with the franchise. Coach Rod Brindamore shared with the local radio station, citing that Rantanen gave him a list of 4 teams that he would re-sign with, and Carolina wasn't one of them. Rantanen denied the claims as he signed with the Dallas Stars, citing that he tried to make it work in Raleigh, didn't want to leave Colorado, but was very, very excited to be with the Dallas Stars organization. Now, before we get to Dallas and why this is a big win for them and why they're going to be going for a title in the near future, let's look at both of these teams and where they fell short and why they did what they did. First of all, I understand why Colorado did what they did, because Colorado didn't want to lose Mikko Rantanen to free agency and not get any value out of him. They didn't want to pay him $14 million because Nathan MacKinnon was making that money, and they didn't want to pay him as much as their franchise guy. So it made sense to trade him away. Of course, with him being an unrestricted free agent in the summer, it was smart to get rid of him. And plus, they did it the right way. They sent him to an Eastern Conference squad. They didn't send him inside the West or inside the division. They sent him all the way to Carolina, and they was able to use that to their advantage. They didn't want to trade him inside the West where they would see him a lot. They didn't want to have him in a division where they would see him en route to go for a Stanley Cup or to go for playoff contention. So it made sense to deal him away to the East. And plus, Colorado still has Nathan MacKinnon. He's the franchise guy. Nathan MacKinnon put up 1,000 points this year in his whole career, 1,000 career points. And Nathan MacKinnon is one of the favorites to win the Hart Trophy this year. So it makes a lot of sense. You don't want to pay another guy as much as what you're paying your franchise guy. So I understand why Colorado did what they did. And getting to Carolina, I understand why they wanted Mikko Rantanen. They needed a franchise guy because Carolina doesn't have a franchise guy. They thought they had it in Necas, but considering the fact that, Necas. Sorry about that, Necas. They thought they had that in Necas, but they ended up trading him away in order to get Mikko Rantanen. And the reason why they wanted him is because Carolina had the money to pay a franchise player. They talked about they offered Rantanen $100 million for a long-term contract. They had the money to do it. So getting a player like Mikko Rantanen at 28 years old, he's young, he's a great player. So why not go for him? I see why Carolina decided to do what they did for him. And so that leads to why these teams fell short. Now, on Colorado's end, they couldn't help the circumstances that happened with them just because Carolina was not able to keep Mikko Rantanen. They ended up trading Mikko Rantanen to Dallas, something that Colorado didn't want because now Colorado will have to see him a lot more because they're in the Central Division with the Dallas Stars. They're in they're in the division with the leader of the Western Conference in the Winnipeg Jets. So this is going to be tough for Colorado. It just got tougher for the Avalanche. They couldn't help that. And that was something that they tried to avoid by trading Mikko Rantanen to Carolina. But that ended up biting them because now he's in Dallas. And Carolina spent their players and draft picks to get a player that they were unsure that they could sign. Now, of course, money talks. We all know that phrase. Money talks and you know what walks. So, of course, Carolina had the money. They thought they would be able to entice Mikko with money alone, and that didn't work. He decided that he didn't want to play for the team. There were times where he sat. His play was disappointing. And considering the fact that all that was going on, Carolina did what Colorado did. They didn't want to lose him to free agency and not get any type of value. So this is why Dallas wins this, because Mikko, this is a Luka-like sign. Like how the NHL views it here, this is a Luka Doncic type sign for the Dallas Stars. How ironic is that, going to Dallas, talk about it straight. But, of course, Mikko Rantanen, he was one of the top 10 in goal scorers before he was traded to Carolina. When Colorado traded him, he was top 10 in goals. He was top 10 in goals scored. He had 64 points leaving in the trade from Colorado to Carolina. So he had the points. He was scoring a lot of points. He was scoring at will with the Colorado Avalanche. So they had a great player already. He was a 100-plus point scorer in the past 2 seasons. So you're guaranteed to get goals. You're guaranteed to get assists from Mikko Rantanen. He's going to put you in great scoring position. And also, Mikko Rantanen has the playoff experience. Dallas has came up short in the past 2 Western Conference Finals. A player like Mikko Rantanen will get them over the hump in the Western Conference. And they're going to be bringing back that old school rivalry that the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche had at one point in time, when Madonna and Hull and Eddie Belfour and Dallas Drake and Darian Hatcher were on that squad with Ozelinch, with Forsberg, Sakic, Hayduk, Patty Waugh. They're bringing back that old school rivalry right there with a Mikko Rantanen coming to Dallas and playing aside from his old school partner and Nathan McKinnon. These two were going to be going at each other for a while. Although Colorado didn't want this to happen, this is what happened right here. This is the cards that they're dealt. So Colorado's going to have to get better. Dallas has gotten better. They definitely won this. So this is big for Dallas. And this is why Dallas is going to win a championship, because Mikko Rantanen is like a Luka Doncic of the NHL. And this is a big time sign for the Dallas Stars. So there you have it. We got a big time sign, and the Dallas squad looks like they may be in contention for a championship. Maybe this year, maybe next year. But it looks like a Stanley Cup is going to be raised up high over the heads of the Dallas Stars in the near future. Want to thank you guys for watching. I'm telling you, I'm a fan of sport. I'm going to be covering all types of sports. This is going only just the beginning. I'm going to be covering all types of sports, everything that's appealing. So this is going to be big. Now, one thing about me is that both these teams I really enjoy. Back in the days when young Smith got his first PlayStation, I got that demo disc, that Volume 3 demo disc. NHL Face-Off 97 was one of those games that you could play. And you could choose between the Colorado Avalanche or the Florida Panthers. I chose the Colorado Avalanche every time. I started liking the squad, and they became my squad. So ever since young Smith was small, I've been a Colorado Avalanche fan. Then later on, the Carolina Hurricanes came into fruition in 1997. Got another pro sports team, and the the Carolina Hurricanes gave the state of North Carolina their first pro sports championship. Rod Brindamore was one of the players on that squad, a beloved coach. So Rod Brindamore, heck of a coach, loved by many in the state of North Carolina. So this is big. This was a trade that kind of pulled me a little bit. I wanted Mikko Rantanen to stay in Carolina. Martin Necas and Jack Drury over in Colorado. That Carolina-Colorado connection, I was liking that. Looked really, really good, but Rantanen going to the Dallas Stars is a big-time sign for the Dallas Stars. I want to thank you guys for watching. Enjoy the hockey. Enjoy the basketball, the wrestling, the football that'll be coming up real soon. Hopefully the UFL doesn't disappoint this year. I'm going to be looking to watch it this year. The baseball's coming up. Make sure you're watching sports. Make sure you're watching Boom Broadcasting. Watching these great guys I do podcasts with on a daily basis. Keep on watching. Thank you for your support. I'm Shannon Smith, and this is Quick Hits.
Can't fall off, now they holler he'll turn, thinking I'ma sell out, talking just to feel heard. I never listen, although they say it's strictly